Dramatic slow-motion shots of Trump walking into a packed congressional hearing room. Reporters' cameras flash, capturing his every move. The air feels thick with tension. On the other end of the long mahogany table sits Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, flipping through a folder.com/focused, unshaken. Narrator VO. Washington thought this would be just another political sparring match, but no one expected Jasmine Crockett to do this. In just 27 seconds, she would lay bare Donald Trump's quiet war on America's homeless, and the look on his face would say more than 1,000 words. The title card slams onto the screen with a bass drop. Jasmine vs. Trump. The Homeless Crisis Showdown. Scene 1, the setup, 0:46 to 3 o'clock. Wide shot of the House Oversight Committee chamber. The audience behind Trump is a mix of his supporters in bright red caps and activists holding signs reading "Housing is a human right." Chairman. The committee will now hear from the Honorable Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, representing the 30th District of Texas. Jasmine leans into the mic, her voice steady but carrying a razor edge. Jasmine, Mr. Trump, for the last 2 years, you've portrayed yourself as a champion of the forgotten. But today, I want to talk about the forgotten. Forgotten the millions of homeless Americans you've turned your back on. Trump smirks, leaning back in his chair, fingers steepled like he's ready for a fight. Trump, here we go again. Another lecture. Nobody's done more for the homeless than me. Nobody, the audience murmurs. Cameras zoom in on Jasmine's raised eyebrow, seen to the data drop. 3:01 to 7 o'clock. Jasmine clicks a remote. A massive screen behind her flashes an image. A tent city sprawling under a freeway overpass. Jasmine. These are American citizens, veterans, children, families. While you were hosting banquets at Mar-a-Lago, your administration cut homeless assistance programs by 42%. 42%. That's not helping, Mr. Trump. That's erasing. Trump shifts in his seat. The smirk fades just slightly. Jasmine. And while states pleaded for federal support, you ordered sweeps of encampments without providing shelter alternatives, scattering people like they were trash. That's not policy. That's cruelty. She pulls out a document highlighted, underlined, stamped. Jasmine, here's your 2019 directive, your own words, ordering federal property managers to clear visible homeless populations from high-profile areas before public events. That's not about safety, that's about optics. Gasps ripple through the room. A CSPAN camera cuts to Trump's jaw tightening. Scene 3, the human story, 7:01 to 12:30. Jasmine holds up a framed photograph of a young girl in a school uniform. Jasmine, her name is Destiny. She was 9 years old when federal agents swept her family's shelter in Los Angeles 2 days before your rally. Her homework was still on the shelter table when bulldozers came. They were told to move to a sidewalk in winter with no plan. You called it cleaning up the streets. I call it displacement. Trump shifts his papers, trying not to meet Jasmine's gaze. Trump, look, that's a sad story. Okay, but these are Democrat-run cities. They're a mess. Not my fault. Jasmine cutting in, not your fault. The order was signed by you. The sweeps were carried out under your watch. And every life uprooted by those orders is your responsibility. Audience claps softly, despite the chair's gavel trying to restore order. Scene for the 27-second moment, 12:31 to 13:50. Close-up on Jasmine. She leans forward, her tone sharp enough to cut through the static. Jasmine, Mr. Trump, in 27 seconds. I'm going to read you your own words from a closed-door meeting on July 12, 2020. I want you and the American people to hear exactly what you said about our homeless citizens. She sets a stopwatch on the table. The ticking is amplified. Jasmine reading. They make the cities look disgusting. Tourists don't want to see them. We need them out of sight before the cameras show up. I don't care where they go, just move them. 27 seconds. Later, she looks up. Trump is frozen, lips pressed tight, eyes darting. A close-up captures every muscle twitch in his jaw. Scene 5. The aftershock. 13:51 to 20 o'clock. Narrator VO. In that silence, the truth landed heavier than any shouting match could. Trump finally clears his throat. Trump, those words were taken out of context. We were talking about safety. I care about these people, but you can't have chaos. Jasmine interrupting. Context doesn't change the contempt, sir. You didn't talk about housing them, feeding them, or helping them. You talked about hiding them. Reporters frantically type. Headlines begin forming in real time. Crockett confronts Trump with homeless remarks. 27 seconds that stopped the room. Scene 6, the collapse 20:01 to 25 minutes and 0 seconds. Trump tries to pivot to job numbers, but Jasmine refuses to let go. Jasmine, you talk about job creation, but under your watch, rental costs spiked to historic highs. You talk about the economy, but you left behind the ones who needed it most. You didn't wage a war on homelessness, you waged a war on the homeless. The audience behind her stands, applauding. The chair slams the gavel repeatedly, warning the crowd to sit, but the energy in the room has shifted. Jasmine has taken control. Closing 25 minutes and 1 second to 28 minutes and 0 seconds, Jasmine gathers her papers, her final words landing like a gavel strike of their own. Jasmine, America is not judged by the wealth of its richest, but by the dignity it gives its poorest. And by that measure, Mr. Trump, under your watch, we failed. Trump doesn't reply. His face is locked in that same expression from 27 seconds earlier, tight-lipped, unblinking, unable to mask the impact. Narrator VO. And that is why one congresswoman, in less than half a minute, forced the former president into silence. Fade out to black. Text on screen. Housing is a human right.